Orty Dorty.
Hey, this is sorry, I messed up my traditional intro. Hello, all you cool orcs and goblins. This is Hugh the Lizard. Hey, this is. Oh, that's the echo that I thought I should get rid of before I start, but I somehow forgot. Okay, anyway, we're off to a fantastic, amazing start, and the person who I have wrangled into joining this S show is Innovation. Hey, Innovation.
Yo, hope everybody had a fantastic week. We got some fabulous games to watch. Well, to recap,
Yeah, I watched some of the games. I like three and a bit. Well, actually, no. Hang on. I watched four games because I I watched four games and then a bit of another game. So that's a fair sample, I think. How did you watch any of the games besides the one we streamed?
I watched, I watched one, which was the one, the Drunk Mystic stream. Um, that was the thing.
Uh, well, yes, I guess we watched the same ones then. Or at least that was the same one. Uh, anyway, I guess I'll start off by apologizing for being so vague about when this stream is going to take place. I was quite often sick, actually. I have some health issues. So I was having a really bad week, and I just didn't have the willpower to be organized. So, thank you, Innovation, for letting people know when the stream would be.
It was no problem. You mentioned it. I knew you weren't feeling great, so I thought I'd take point and just let everybody know. We kind of delayed it.
But we only have one game that was played this week in week two so far, so it should be a pretty clean recap in terms of what happened in week one. So let's
Yeah.
dive into the first. Thanks, Andy. Yeah, it's a chronic illness, so I'm feeling better with quotation marks. uh, but yeah, I am doing a bit better today. So let's talk about the Jumping Giants versus the Great Mahaha.
Literally my favorite now, the team.
Oh yeah. Uh, I
uh,
I was planning on watching this game from the get go because how often do you get to see Ogre versus Kislev? And I almost forgot. Uh, Fortunately, the game is still replayable, so I actually watched this game like an hour ago. So it's pretty fresh in my mind.
what happened?
What are some initial thoughts from you, Innovation? Just sort of looking at the results.
Um, well, here's what I expected to happen. Right, I kind of expected the Kislev to score real. So this kind of went the way of how I thought it would go. I just thought the Kislev would suffer more AV breaks because of the amount of mighty blow and stuff on the ogres natively.
Yeah, I think
But yeah,
this this is one of the rare occasions where the stats really tell you a lot about how this game went. You got 48 blocks, which has translated into 5 armor breaks. Kislev armor was 83%. Some of that was against AV7 with Mighty Blow. Some of it was against AV8 with Mighty Blow, but almost all those blocks, with like maybe one or two exceptions, was with Mighty Blow, and he got 5 breaks.
it
Uh,
feels bad.
None of those breaks translate into casualties. Um, oh, there was one casualty, but yeah, that wasn't from the ogres. Like they didn't cause the casualty, so they didn't get any SPP. Oh wait, no, they did. I'm wrong. So there was one that I just missed. Maybe it was towards the end or something. But yeah, so this was a 7 SPP uh, game for Andy.
So you got one cat, and then
Yeah, so Andy says it was turn 15, which is probably why I think I skimmed past the last couple turns, which is probably why I missed that. Um,
the most irrelevant removal ever.
yeah, it really didn't matter at that point. It was 2-0 going into turn 15, and basically the Kislev just ran forward and did a 3+3+, or no, it was a 2+3+ to pick up the ball and score. Or it was it was very Kislev stylish. He leaped into the end zone, plucked it up from the tackle zone of an ogre. Uh,
Just
the other
normal
thing,
Kislev.
yeah, that's what makes Kislev fun. Is the ability to do stuff like that.
When it comes off, it looks really good, does
I will say, like, your expectation of Kislev will get the ball off the ogres easily and score, but suffer a lot. There was
Yeah,
also
that
a
I
period
was
where, and this couldn't have felt good for Andy, so I'm sorry for bringing it up. It felt like the Kislev were outbashing the ogres for a good 2 to 3 turns.
um yeah, yeah, I could see that. I don't know. It's difficult, because with how the ogres are set up, like the ogres have like quite a nice setup opinion for how little in skills they actually have. They've got like 3 guard ogres, and then just a normal amount of mighty. And it's just I watched them today actually in their next week's matchup, not discussed, but I expected them to kind of bloody up the kids level a little bit, maybe make a lineman or two, kind of retired, but I was quite disappointed
Yeah, I
when
guess
I
if
come to watch.
that my blow doesn't, and it's not like they weren't based up. The teams were in a lot of contact throughout the game, so there was lots of opportunities to get those removals. But I mean,
How much
the
difference did Wrestle make?
um, not. I don't think Russell was the deciding factor because he like only Morgan Thorg had block. I think it was the lack of block on the ogres and like the fair bit of blodge on the side of the blitzers. I think Andy did a good job of getting lots of 3 dice to make the blodge a little easier for him to deal with. But there was like one turn where this blodge sidestepper, Stanislav, he took 3 ogre hits and then ended up based with what are they called? The Nobblers. And the Nobbler had to dodge out, and the Nobbler got the turnover. So that one player by himself, just with having Blodge, managed to hold up the entire Ogre team for a turn. And it was just a lot of stuff like that where like the the Kislev did a great job of kind of isolating the ogres and taking them down, and then Bonehead would make it hard for the ogres to get back up, and it just sort of like felt like the Kislev were walking all over the ogres. The last thing I will say about this game is that it taught me that Morg and Thorg has agility 3. I did not
Oh
realize
yeah,
that.
I know that one from previous experience, but I I forget ogres are agi, to be honest with you. So I go the other way. I just presume they're all agi free.
Yeah, I would agree, Andy, that it wasn't a dicing. I will just say that like the removals were very like there was a ogre that went down, and once you start losing ogres are in trouble, I guess.
Well, having Morgan Sword kind of offsets that, but
Um, Morg, I wouldn't say Morgan Thorg was the best ball carrier in the game, just because you have Dan Nightingale, who uh, who has the advantage of not having loner, although the disadvantage of not having block. Yeah, maybe it was between
isn't
those two.
Morgan Thug like strength 6?
Yeah, but
I
yeah.
can never remember.
So let's see. No permanent damage done to. Well, you have a Nobbler that's being um, niggled,
That
but
doesn't count.
that doesn't really count. But you do have a couple levels up. We're looking at the jumping giants first, the ones that haven't played their game. They leveled the tame bear, so I would expect stand firm on the normal. So the website is
Jumping.
just loading.
Right,
Here we go. And he gave him break tackle instead.
I don't like.
You don't like it?
No. Um. Okay. I had this discussion like maybe early last season, end of the season before, and we were discussing it with in regards to like a beast and Nurgle, right? And big guys fail enough 2+s to not add an extra 2+ to fail. Just give him stand firm, somewhat more reliable. What you kind of want him to do anyway, which is kind of mark stuff up. You take away an out and you give yourself like extra hits as well if you want to take them. And I understand break, but I don't agree with not this early on.
I I agree with you. I like stand firm for the exact reason you just said, that it keeps the tail on them. It keeps the guard in place. And yeah, I agree 100% that you don't really want to activate the bear very often, similar to Croxagore. You want to just use
Yeah,
them to hold
very.
down the other team. He activated the bear a fair bit in the game I watched, but that was taking hits against ogres, and you kind of, I kind of didn't note that he activates the bear a lot, just because I'm like, well, he's trying to punch ogres, so of course he needs to activate the bear. But we'll see going forward how he uses the bear. But the break tackle suggests that he likes having him uh,
Mover.
in the midst of
And
the play, rather than just trying to hold off one or two players.
I mean,
Yeah, it stops
I
him from
don't know.
getting tied up with a 40k Skelly. That's a good point, but it makes him really
If he's
easy to get off your Agi 3 ball carrier.
it does to me it does much more different using a blitz to reposition.
Yeah,
So blitzing the skeleton off to kill or whatever, and then bring him into a more relevant spot. And with him then having stand firm, he'd be a bigger piece of holding down. I don't know. It's up to you. It's like it's a style, not
yeah. I mean, like,
that I stand.
yeah. And again, to be clear, we're giving our opinions and our analysis.
You
It's
might have
not
great
like,
success
yeah,
with it. I
there are no wrong answers to how you want to play this game, if that's what you feel like you want. Just our analysis is that we just feel like stand firm, like value for money. Like, given that you're not going to get to 31 SPP in a long time, you're probably playing 10 to 20 games with this bear. What's going to come in handy more often, the stand firm or the break tackle? And I just feel like the stand firm much more often will come in handy.
Well, it with it not having stand firm in red dice, really comfortable to take if you've got block
Yep.
because it's like a percent rid of them. No hit.
Yeah, like often it'd be the easier thing than dodging out.
Yeah,
We
very much.
will. I think Dan Nightingale leveled up this week, so we'll be seeing levels from next week as well. But at this point, there's nothing we can do about it, so we'll just look at how the team looks at the end of week 2. Oh, he didn't take the level yet for Dan Nightingale, so that's useful. Wait till
Oh,
next
that's
week.
brilliant. That's brilliant. I hope he rolls block. I really do.
Oh, if he rolls a double, you have to take sure hands, surely. Come
Um,
on.
I love the aqua blue kit. That's nice, by the way. uh,
Yeah. No, but block. Obviously, I'm joking about the sure hands, though not the craziest idea in the world. We have Andy says that he agrees with the stand firm, and he's putting his money where his mouth is by giving this guard ogre stand firm.
yep, like to see it.
How would
Um,
you build an ogre? Like, would you have? I was thinking about this the other day. I think I would have like some ogres with stand firm, and then one or two with break tackle.
um, it depends, doesn't it? Like, if you're playing with ogres, which I presume you are, right? What I do, go pile on them and just pile on.
Oh, you just
go
like
go 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 the Gengar score of big
go
guys.
go all in on like we're gonna get removals because that never bad luck.
Oh, you could well optimally, right? You'd put guard on every person, and then you put stand firm on the exit rolls after that. But for fun, I'd have like massive like line of pile on. Just
Yeah.
I like the animation way too much. The big belly flop.
Yes, it
But
is a fun animation. But yeah, I think
if I
so. Andy says
if
that he will be taking break tackle, and I think you do need break tackle helps. I think Dan Nightingale, you even skip guard and go straight to break tackle.
well, it's not even that bad, is it? Break tackle, because you haven't got loan
Yeah, no, I mean like you give Dan Nightingale break tackle, you can kind of like
cage
you
dive.
can dodge out and then cage dive depending on like if you roll a 3 on the dodge out, okay, now you can go cage dive.
Agi 3 break tackle strength 5.
Yeah, it,
um,
it opens options to you that like I you don't normally have on a team like this.
yeah. Um, no, if you're doing them competitively, I think I'd go like 3, 4 guard, maybe one break tackle. It, like I don't know. I need to play ogres more than I have.
Also, getting a double or stat up on any ogre could really change how you'd want to build them.
I wouldn't AV. I don't. But again, I don't know to say what.
Okay, so that was game 1. We will now come to We Came from Outer Space in Battleforged Brewmasters. The Rob sent me a video that is a bit long, but I felt too lazy to edit it down because he did a pretty good job of editing it. But we'll just play that quickly, and we can kind of talk through what we're seeing as we watch it.
Um, no, Rob's a really really good Kappa, so should be very used to the editing side of it by now.
Oh, you know what? Are you? I can share my screen with you, and you can watch it on my screen.
That would.
Let's do that. I think that's what we did last year. Okay.
I believe.
Can you see it?
Yep, we're all there.
Okay. Cool. So. This for the record, just the part I don't need the riot part, but that's just me. I appreciate Rob sending this to me for us to look at because it's kind of nice.
Yeah. Oh, you love to see doubles.
Devil Skull's second block of the game.
I'd love to see it on the minor. I'd like to punish going low on yellow.
Yeah, well, I mean, like that's the whole thing with the Minotaur is that you have to hit with it, otherwise it's gonna be stupid. That's kind of why it's low burst most of the guys. But this here is really key bad positioning.
Oh, it's perfect.
Yeah, this is something that like you kind of learn.
It's a posture game.
Yeah, you learn over time, like when you're playing against good players that can spot that kind of stuff. You can't give that up. So he comes in with the Minotaur to take vengeance, gets nothing, and Minotaur gets promptly smacked down.
Well, I wouldn't like it. But I don't like both.
Well, I'd be curious to see if he's interested in. And here we have a full score. So he managed to rescue a bit of the drive after kind of a rough start there.
I don't know if I'd want to rely on because if that handoff goes wrong,
he didn't have a lot of great choices at that point. Like
you're losing them.
Like it was a rough spot that he was in. And here we have another example of the kind of surf that you have to be
like Rob.
And
Rob's an excellent coach.
Yeah, I mean this I think is comes down a lot to inexperience. Like a lot of less experienced coaches don't see that kind of surf, so they don't do that kind of surf.
And then you got this as well, which is really good. I mean, this is kind of what I did to experience.
Yeah, you can already see that sideline, and this is only the first pass. Doesn't really get much better.
It's important to note that when you're getting served, they're just rolling straight in. You've got no arm. You're so it's irrelevant. But AV9.
I will say, like, there was a play there I did really like from the Chorfs where he activated the blitz, dodged out, didn't use the break tackle, so he was able to dodge again.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. I also like the just rolling dice, see if you can get it. Spirit that's happening right there. So you never know.
But it's game 1 of the season. Like, if that dies, like the bulls are so important to achieve. If you lose one, it's really detrimental.
I like the fighting spirit of it. I think the chances are it's not gonna die. I think you go for it. like if you, especially when you if you feel like you're being dominated the whole game, which I could kind of feel
Oh,
the
okay. Like
frustration coming out of the drunk mystic. Um,
let let let's say that you want to cage dive with that, right? Is it not better to just try and scatter the ball into the crowd and like so blitz from the right hand sideline?
I I don't know. I'd have to look at the
Uh,
details of it to see if that was
that
a possible
that
move.
that
I
was just if it's similar dice, I think I would try and but
Yeah, if it's
it's one
similar
of
dice,
those.
then yeah, you want to hit towards the sidelines. So I will say, without sort of harping on anything too much, one piece of advice I would give to the drunk mystic. This is just my observation as someone who's played against Chorus, not played with Chorus very often. But I felt like he spread his team out a lot throughout the game. Chorus tend to work best when they're kind of clustered together to support each other. Um, you don't have a lot of guard on your team yet, but when you start developing guard, you can start um, bullying other teams a little bit more. But with the team spread out so much, it was really easy for Kemery to isolate, destroy, because you were trying to cover the whole pitch. You end up on the sideline a lot, which gave up a lot of serves. Um, my suggestion is just try to control the middle and then react to where the ball is going without overreacting. And that's just how I've seen the really good Chorf players play.
Um, okay, there's like two main problems that I see, and you can take this, tell me to go into, but I watched him play, and I watched base up Chore to get hit by to get hit, and they weren't going to hit back, stand back and get hit again. And you might be AV9, but sooner or later your AV is going to break, right? And you're going to suffer more removal average. So what you'd like to see, not base up so much, maybe try to positionally dictate the game a bit more. And it's like you said, he needs to not spread his chorf so wide, keep them in the middle like segment of the pitch, and try and use the ball, one of the balls, and maybe a hobbo to try and cut the pitch and start compressing the other team against the sideline. One of the best coaches that I've watched, there's a RAL coach called Sace. He's excellent at controlling the pitch, controlling that position pitch, and squishing the opposing team against the sideline. Because with Chorfs, you don't want to be spread out. Kind of want to narrow that pitch down, narrow that angle.
Yeah. Um, I will. I think I essentially agree with that. Like, just to be clear to the drunk mystic, we're not harping on you, and I hope you don't feel like we're picking on you at all. But this
No,
is a
we
this
just
the learning curve on this game can be surprisingly steep. Like it feels simple at first, but there's a lot of subtleties to it. So I
I'm just trying to help you. Like I know it can
that doesn't
really frustrate.
that doesn't really help because that also sounds a little condescending. But yeah, we're just
I'm
making
not trying to be
suggestions
condescending.
and hopefully helping you learn.
I
And
mean, I played a similar team Chorfs I like with your move and stuff, and it's a really steep learning curve when you first start out. Before, just like if you get a position wrong, you get punished because it take you to recover.
Yeah, I make fun of chorfs a lot, and say things like, "Oh, they're evil people," but it actually, I think, takes a fair bit of skill to play chorfs the way that they're best played. Just because positioning is so important. Your team is so slow, except for the bull centaurs. Like the bulk of your team, the strength of your team is the blockers, and they're so slow that if you are too far to the left or too far to the right, it's not that hard to run around you. You need to basically set your team up so you can respond to everything. And it's tough. Like you gotta figure out how to do that kind of positioning. But I think that that's the challenge of taking on Chorfs. Um, so nothing really to discuss in terms of level ups. The Minotaur being AV down, I suspect that he's gonna fire him. I would be very interested to know if we're gonna see Al Capone. You know, that's a I respect taking the Minotaur just for that joke. I just noticed that. That's a good pun. I appreciate a good pun there. Did you notice the name of the Minotaur? You know?
No, I was reading some of the earlier on. I thought
Uh,
it was a enjoyable watch.
Yeah, so I wonder if so he has sacked the Minotaur. I wonder if he's gonna take up another Minotaur. I would suggest against it, and I feel like a lot of Chorf coaches I know are very down on the Chorf Minotaur. So I think the conventional wisdom is that he shouldn't take it again, especially such a low TV team. It just sucked up so much more of the TV. He's gonna get so much more inducements now.
Wizards.
Yeah, wizards, bribes. Like he has his dirty player with block, which I must have leveled up this week because he didn't have block. But we can talk about that next week. Okay, moving on to the next game.
We covered it.
Yeah,
The without
yeah. So this is the game that we streamed. You can find the stream still up on my Twitch channel if you are interested. Um, any sort of after the fact thoughts that you wanna put in about this
uh
game?
no, Wood Owls played well. The Orcs didn't do a lot wrong. They didn't do enough wrong to be, but the Wood Owls made it.
Yeah, it's
So
just one of
it's a
those.
tough pill to swallow.
Yeah, when things work for Wood Elves, things just work.
Yeah, don't get too down.
But
And it,
yeah,
you got 12 more weeks.
yeah, and you don't have to play this game team again. Um, let's
Yeah, that's
check
somebody else's.
out the level up on Shaggy's Scaly Cap. Oh, he not taken it
He
yet?
hasn't taken.
Okay, what should he
You're in
take?
my bad books.
Um,
Um, I won't
sidestep.
speculate on something that's not
Sorry,
taken.
what?
I, I don't know, to be honest, because he's guard. I'd like be nice to have sides.
Maybe block. Actually, block. Yeah,
Does
I.
he not block?
Oh, hang on. I'm looking at the wrong player. Player am I looking at?
No, he's got
Oh
block.
yeah, sorry. I, I got confused with the other guard for a second because my brain just went elsewhere for a split second. Yeah, I think sidestep because you can put him in front of the cage of your opponent, and if they hit you, you get guard into the cage.
You get place. No, I like outside of it. Would
Uh,
you take the double?
would I take a double? Uh, yeah, I don't know what double
I
you
think
would.
it's strength and pass. I
Yeah,
don't.
no, it is strength and pass. I don't know what double you would give him. Stand firm would be funny, but you probably don't actually want to do that.
Let me stand firm and get hits. That doesn't sound good.
Yeah. Oh, it's just like, yeah, I'm strength 2 and AB7, but you can't push me around.
It'd make a fun side story for
Yeah.
it. The elf that can't be moved.
Yeah. You can kill him, but you can't move him.
No, he's still gonna stand firm and die in
He will die where he stands.
that.
Uh, yeah, I can't think of anything better than sidestep here. Now, let's move on to the next
Oh, I
game.
lied. I watched some of this game.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Any? Oh, the next
The
game, right?
rats.
Yeah.
The
Yeah, I
the
watched.
rats.
This is another game that I watched. Let's see,
th-
did I write notes
They
for
were
it though?
unlucky. I seen the end bit because I was busy up until like when this game hit 13, 14.
So this was the. I think this was one of the controversial wizards that chat was talking about, or the Discord channel was talking about, with the really early
you
on
mean
fireball.
you mean the spoon? Spoon bring it up. I think.
Yeah, yeah. There was some discussion about whether or not it was a good or bad fireball. How did you feel about this fireball?
I think I missed the fireball.
Okay, it was pretty early on. Before the controversy about it came up, I have in my notes that I didn't like it. So it the fireball worked great. It took out the whole cage. He was able to pick up the ball, but once he had the ball, there was not really much for him to do with it. Um, One of the gutter runners was on tentacles, so he didn't have like someone else he could pass the ball off to, and it really like it didn't set up it with winning condition for the rats.
Um, when I've played rats, I have like I kind of go through it in my head of how difficult my score gonna be, and if I fireball, if I only get one piece down, and it's like any of the corners or whatever, is it still relevant that I can go in there and get the it like sat the ball? Because if you use your wizard and don't get the ball, it's pretty bad. You're in a bad spot.
Yeah. Well, he
Which
got
is
the
why
ball. He just, as I recall anyway, he wasn't able to keep it.
which is why I like the bolt much more than the fireball on most occasions. And this my second kind of thought is, can I score? Like, or can I make the ball safe? And if the answer to any of those questions is no, then I just keep hold of it and try and force them into a worse position, so that the wizard becomes more appealing. So by the sound of it, it doesn't sound like my kind of.
Yeah, I think like it's not like it was a terrible opportunity for a wizard, but it wasn't so good given that it was early on. Like if it's turn 14 and the score is 1-1, yeah, I would take that fireball because you don't know if you're going to get a better chance, but given how early in the game it was, like the early wizard can work really well in just setting the tempo of the game, putting the other team on their back heel really early on. They have to spend the rest of the game catching up. But that only works if you can get the ball safe and score. Um, yeah, and you have to be able to answer those three questions. Uh, as for the rest of the game, things kind of just went Barry's way through most of it.
Barry had a massive impact, didn't he?
Yeah, Barry was, you know, heard us making fun of Minotaurs and said, "Hey guys, check out what I can do."
This
Just
is how
like,
a real Minotaur works.
yeah, well, the tentacles, like the tentacles, was a nightmare for Moongoose to deal with here.
Um, I think um, I think the way the rats played a little bit, it kind of played into like there was opportunities to get like more than one gutter on like that from what I remember.
Yeah, like
And I
the
think that
gutter
that
runners. There were multiple turns where the gutter runners were kind of close enough that he could get the tackle zone on both of them. Um, the
I
last
think
thing,
that's just I think that's just inexperience, not playing against that much.
yeah, I mean, like I do that
But
with my skinks all the time. Like it
from
sucks.
from watching from watching the game, that was feeling like could have just been a bad day at the office.
The other thing I'd say is that despite being 14-10, I really felt like the Rats' lack of development on the gutter runners was a huge problem. There's just options that other gutter runners teams have on defense to knock the ball free and secure the ball is not really available on this team. Like that's not Dubious
I mean,
Mongoose's like fault, but it is kind of his problem that he's starting off the season with really only one good gutter runner.
you got a natty one turn. You've got one that's gonna, I presume, gonna be like two heads, gonna be your recovery, and then your first one, Mercat. I presume he's gonna be going up for being a sack, but I'd like to see him wrestle, tackle, wrestle.
Yeah, I,
Dauntless is a choice I take later on in
yeah,
my
I think that's
sacking
a third
sacking.
skill. Rob reminds me that on uh, the Drain Weasels one turn events, they snakes them the dice,
Yeah,
which is
he snaked it, didn't he? Which was really unfortunate. Yeah, I was
yes,
watching for that bit.
the blitz kickoff. Rob was specifically what I was thinking about when I said just everything seemed to go Barry's way. Like that was a very classic. Oh, the kick is just perfect and the blitz is just perfect. All the rats are out of position and we're gonna take the ball. And because you don't have a good sacker, we're just gonna walk up the field. Like it turns what should have been the Rats offense into the Rats defense, and I just felt like this Rat team really struggles on defense. Like we'll see going forward, but as of right now, this team doesn't have a lot of great defensive options.
Um, and another question for you. Obviously, I didn't see, was Did he throw the red dice at the Minotaur with a block?
I don't think he did.
I think that's a risk you take sometimes.
Yeah.
I think that like just keep in mind it's about 70% that you'll be able to know away or
I
whatever.
mean, like
I forget whether Barry has
it's a three
vermin.
it's a 3 red die unless you get an assist in. Like, are you talking about
Um,
red dyeing with the gutter runner?
no, more like a storm vermin thing.
Oh,
But
yeah,
Barry stand firm, so you're looking for like both down, stumble, pow,
yeah.
which makes it a little bit. But it's still if you find yourself bogged down, sometimes you need to take that risk, like with the storm vermin. Free up a storm vermin on dice, blitz, Barry down on red dice. So try and get your gutters free, make them more relevant.
Yes. That's sort of the opposite point of view of what we were talking about earlier about uh, why we wanted the bear to get stand firm to prevent that kind of play or to make that kind of play less optimal. Yeah, in terms of
Like it's a lot worse. Like the play when a big guy has stand firm, it's a lot worse.
yes,
It's like 50-50.
well, you lose 2 like results on one of the dice that doesn't really make sense the way I was saying it, but like yeah, you lose push has a win. Push is no longer a win not for you if the other
Um,
team has stand firm.
next,
So in
um,
terms of permanent damage, the only thing worth noting here is the nickel thrower, who I assume is going to get fired because he's unskilled.
that seems fair.
I guess the question's more, does he get replaced?
Um, I've seen Crystal Hunter run it, and I've got a great deal of respect for it. Like, if he says it kind of works, it probably does. But I've not seen it.
I also know Skaven coaches who hate the thrower.
Oh, I hate this. I'm one of those.
No. Well, he has the cash for it, so I guess we'll see.
We see what he does.
Yeah. I don't think there's any levels, so we
Um,
will
doesn't.
move on to the next game, uh, which is a game I haven't watched or have much to say about. 1-1.
Did I watch? No, I wanted
Pretty
to watch this. Couldn't.
pretty even with the TV. Pretty even with the number of blocks taken. Pretty even with the armor breaks. Um, a little one-sided for the removals. I think you have 8 removals versus was that no? That's 7 removals versus 1 removal.
The AV breaks being about the same, but the necro getting so much more from them is
Yeah.
um is a defining statistic.
Well, I mean, part of that is I think
Oh,
the
7 versus 5. No,
yeah
no,
you
the
got more
Blizzard's
mighty
getting.
blow.
Wow.
Like you got well, there's 2 mighty blow versus 3. I don't know. It's hard.
The the Lizard's got more out of it than Necro did on less blocks. Surprise.
Yeah. So no permanent damage. We're gonna have a MNG lineman who is not gonna deny a great loss. Let's take a look at what he did with his levels. Um, Lineman, you can go a lot of different routes. He doesn't have a lot of just dodge lineman, so he might go that route. Um, the thrower with block. What's the next skill for the thrower?
Um.
So what race is this? This
Oh,
is this
deck.
is this high elves?
And
Let's just look at the results. They'll tell us.
human.
I don't think it's human because it doesn't have an ogre, but that's what kind of took me for a second. Is this a human team? It
No,
is a
it
human
looks like
team that was missing the ogre for that game, right? Okay, so that's why I got confused. All right,
ogre's
so
human.
that lineman is not getting dodge. He's getting wrestle, which is a good plan. I like the wrestle tackle combination on the human lineman. I think that makes that player really good.
What do you think about dropping a reroll later on your throw?
Uh, he has 3 rerolls. You think he should
Yeah.
go down to 2?
Yeah, and then just put leader on your thrower.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Because he hasn't taken that
You
level yet.
cut
I
you can
don't.
cut 30 TV off. Or you can go kickoff return.
Um, I'm not a big fan of leader unless you're already a really high TV team. Um, I just don't think like that's 30 TV that he'd be saving. And that's not going to make it that big of a difference to him at this point.
Um it's like a skill and a bit worth of TV difference.
Yeah, but you're
It,
also
it
giving
it's like
you're
a
also giving
it,
up having a skill other than leader, and you're putting at risk that if rock hits your thrower in turn 0 and you're out a reroll for the rest of the game, like it doesn't. I'm not a big believer in leader. I think it can work on some teams, but I don't think that this is one of the teams. I think you want your thrower to be a really good ball carrier. And
what would you do then? Would you take kickoff return then? Where would you go?
I think kickoff return. I think that's what you want to do. That can it can kickoff return can help a lot with the one turners. Kickoff return can help a lot with um, retrieving the ball and getting it safe in the first turn of the drive. It
What
can be
about tackle?
super helpful. Tackle. So I guess there's 2 ways you can go. You can either, as I was kind of thinking about it with the throwers, making the thrower a specialized ball carrier, or you can make him more of just like a utility piece.
You can make him two-way, like play both.
You could do what?
You, like so he's because at the minute he's just a block piece on defense.
Yeah, but you don't necessarily have him out during defense. How many players do you have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, so you have bench most of the time, and you have your full roster. Though he might want
Yeah,
to leave a catcher out during defense. I don't
and
know.
then
I don't like tackle. I just feel like there's more you could do, but nothing is really popping into my mind.
no,
Tackle may be worth doing in this specific case just because there's no tackle on the team. Um, I know it's
it's
going to
actually a
become like a
problem.
meme for me saying you need tackle, but yeah, I think
Yeah,
kickoff return would be choice two, but tackle just to have tackle is an okay choice. I think it's a bad long term build though, so he might not want to do that.
um, I don't know. Like until your catches get more developed, I don't think both Steve.
Yeah. Okay. Um, I don't think we talked about the other team. Were there any levels on the other team? Let me just go back and look. It's taking a while,
Protect
so doing this.
the
No.
necro of Tommy Roller. Oh, I haven't told you this, have I? The Tommy Rollers and Spoon keep on doubting the chaos. I'm very upset with their not putting faith in my chaos lads in my recap. So I'm doing my best to curse both of in this div.
Yeah. So what you do is you talk about how well they're gonna do, and then they'll do
Oh,
poorly,
okay.
right? That's the way that
Yeah, they're
works.
gonna they're both gonna be top of the table. It's not even a thought, is it? It's not like this claw Miley blow piling on werewolf is completely defenseless and needs a boot or anything like that. And they have a really nice amount of guard, and you've got like these really nice developed flesh golems. It'd be a shame if something happened. I can't think what. Um, but one of the whites being a is a bit disappointing. But you kind of got this blodge one you can lean on, maybe like here fall over. It'd be a shame if he fell and broke his neck.
Yeah, I went on
um,
to the other team, so hopefully people know what you're talking about. Anyway, let's move on to Scales of Beauty versus Werewolf. There, Wolf.
yeah,
Everywhere,
the necro
Wolf.
team.
The other Necro team versus the Scales of Beauty.
Ah, the lizards that we watched CC.
Yeah, we. So I watched the beginning of this game, so I don't. I got sidetracked and didn't ever get back to watching the rest of it. So the only thing I have to say about this game is I one of my favorite things about playing Lizardman is how people kind of don't take account of skinks when they potato. The number of times people are like, haha, I've gone past the SARS and there's no way for them to stop them, and then just run in with three skinks and knock the ball out of their hands. Feels really good as a Lisbon coach. So I there was like one play that was like that, but that's pretty much the only thing I saw happen in this game.
uh, do you find necro to be like a hard count skin?
Like a hard team for Lizardmen? Not really.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't usually have more than one Mighty Blow claw, and they don't usually have pylon with it. So you're not as afraid of facing down huge amount of SARS removals. Like it's a risk you have to be aware of, but you're taking at most one claw mighty blow hit a turn. You're not that scared of that. The flesh golems aren't so scary with you because you often have similar players that can kind of counter it. You have speed to keep up. Yeah, I generally think Necro's not. I don't think it's an easy team for Lisbon to play, but it's not a particularly hard one.
I've never played the matchup. I was interested to see how you viewed it.
Yeah, I think it's one of those like it's not a oh this race is just always bad against that race. I think it a lot depends on the teams. Um I would have favored this Necro team just because the Saurus aren't terribly well developed in scales of beauty. Um,
Yeah,
but you know what?
he
Really
doesn't
looking
have a
at them,
lot.
I would say that this is a pretty even match. Like
Yeah, I'd have gone with.
yeah, I don't think that there was like one team that was heavily favored. Maybe the Necro a little, just because the Wolves are so well developed. Um,
Well, would you be more scared of the Agi full?
so we're hearing from chat that that a big issue that the Lizardmen had in this game is that the Saurus were tied down by zombies, which is probably the greatest advantage that Necro have against Lizardmen is that you have these really cheap players that you don't really care about that can be used to tie down
They're
Saurus.
they're
Um,
quite sturdy as well, aren't they? They're like AV8 regen,
yeah,
so you just never get very far with them generally.
that's when you start blitzing to reposition.
Yeah. Asaurus has took an AV bust, block tackle.
Uh,
Don't know whether it was this game. It's like armor.
Also, hearing from chat that Solaris had particularly bad dice, which is hard for me to judge because I only saw the first 4 turns. Uh, but I can kind of believe it.
I'm not massively into going out with terrible dice. Like
I know.
I try and look at it. I try and look at it.
Yes,
Maybe you could play this differently. Like I try to make it like duck.
yeah. Well, I'm just saying out loud what the chat is saying. And
Yeah, I was just
Solaris,
kind of
I did see the you go in for the 4+ pickup, which I thought was fair enough, and then get the 4+ pickup and then fail the 1 and 9 dodge out, which
oh,
hurts.
that
Happens to
feels
me all the
bad.
time, and it hurts.
He's not lying either. I've a lot of his games.
Yeah. Yeah, no level ups. A perm on an that's an armor bus on Saurus, which
That
sucks.
Saurus is AV7.
Oh, was he busted down to AV7? Yeah, you gotta fire him. Oh, I remember the discussion of this now.
Oh, that feels bad. Like
Yeah, you're
that's
one really like good developed
developed.
Saurus. Oh,
We've recapped somebody called Sticky B last and his lizard. And I kind of said, I don't really expect game because of how far down, like, in development being.
you
But
keep kind of breaking out. Like I'm hearing like a word and then losing you and then another word.
ah, I was just on about Sticky B last season and how they did you get that?
You were just on about Sticky B, how he, and then we cut out.
Uh, Same situation as Sticky B.
Yeah, so it's the similar circumstances. You're coming in has a low TV um, Lizardmen team. I think it's a little better for Scales of Beauty just because there are more lower TV teams in this division than there was in the division we covered last year. So I
I think
feel
he's
like
got
there's
a lot of
better
the same.
potential for Scales of Beauty to get in some good development and win a few games, but like losing Mutant on your first game really cuts into that. Like you're now you went from having 3 level 3 stars to 2 level 3 stars and no tackle. It really hurts. And then your good skink is niggled, so his days are numbered.
Yeah, I wouldn't play in Lizard. Fair play.
But like, hey, my experience is I had a this is going to be a development season for my Lizardman, and then I just got 0 development, and then the next season I rolled 2 strength ups on pretty well developed SARS, and my team suddenly turns into amazing. So you never know when your next level might bring you something that's pure
Train.
gold.
Did you just use the analogy roll better?
Yes. No, I'm just saying don't despair. It's more don't despair. Like, hey,
No, there's always a bright side around the corner.
Serta is one casualty away from getting potentially tackle. Probably tackle. Tackle's what I would do there. So he's not. He probably won't have no tackle for too long.
I mean, he's 2 injuries.
Yeah.
MVP
Confirmed from
gonna have a
chat, he will take
two.
tackle, and I think that is the thing to do. Did we talk about the other team? I don't remember. No, we didn't. Was there anything to
Then
say?
horrible.
For some reason, it's my internet's taking forever to load specific pages. Here we go. Yeah, nothing to say about werewolf, werewolf, everywhere a
Disgusting as
wolf.
ever.
Yeah. Uh, so we will finish this off with the Dark Angels of Lilith versus the Face Planters. A
Spoon
nice
getting what he deserves. Lost.
elfie high score game.
um, no, I'm upset. I didn't. And never had
um, yeah, I guess I don't have anything to say here. It looks like 47 blocks to 17 blocks in favor of the Dark Elves is kind of what you would expect. Dark Elves to try to get punchy and Spoon to try to run away from the punchiness. Uh, Punchiness doesn't seem to have had a big effect. Well, I guess he got 6 KOs. So yeah, that could do a lot. I don't know how many of those KOs were linemen or how much were the team players that actually matter. Yeah, so not having seen this game, there's not really any more for me to say. Is there anything you want to say?
um statty dark owls guard.
Yeah, this is a pretty
It,
bashy
it's
Dark Elf team.
it's it's a dark and not too red.
Not what?
Not too many red numbers like perms.
Oh yeah, it's a really healthy team. It has a lot of bash. It has a lot of leap for a Dark Elf team. Yeah, this is a good
A lot of
team.
agi.
Yeah, 2 agi ups, a strength up, 2 guards. Yeah, this is a pretty good team. It's the ironically, I don't know, ironically, but this against usual expectation, the witch elves are not the most valuable players on this team.
Um, my inspiring quote for the division is, "I stood on a dark elf week 1 and killed it." So there's your blueprint. But
Yeah,
on a
but if
serious
I'm gonna
note,
tell him to kill a player on this team, it's not even the witch elves. Like, kill Darth Darkwing Duck if you're gonna kill anyone.
I like the name. You can't kill my favorite name.
Well,
uh,
he's a legend, and sometimes legends just gotta die.
what? You're a nasty man. Nasty, nasty.
Well, we do have levels that we can discuss. The Witch Elf. What do you do? Give the Witch Elf wrestle. There's a lot of
she she
options.
she hasn't a level, but I don't know. Like it depends a lot on what you're looking for your witch elf to do, doesn't it? Um, you could take you could go down like wrestle tackle, like Saka kind of route, like leap as well, because she's got jump up as well.
Oh, spoilers in the chat from Donkey Dragon, who made the whole discussion mute. Apparently, she rolled an agi up.
Oh, damn well, that solves your problems, doesn't it? You
Yeah,
really needed more stats.
yeah. Uh, didn't hasn't taken it yet, so I'm glad that someone in chat knows. Um, yeah. So I
Donkey
mean,
Dragons, Andy,
that's
because he's got
that's
the same Discord hand.
that is that makes this team so gross. Like this is they're going
It
to be
was my
facing a
favorite
lot of
coming in.
inducements this season, but it's hard hard to imagine this team not being in the top three.
He's got really great tools for playing around. He's probably going to face. So I think he's in.
Yeah. Oh, and they're playing the Lizardman next
Oh,
game. Um, do
uh, that's what the lizard did after getting the tackle killed, basically.
yeah,
Um,
that seems
to
fair.
face tooled up dark elves.
And the Scales of Beauty, I'm looking right now. They do not have enough cash for another Saurus, so it's gonna be a fun game
What
for
would
him.
what would you do? Would you still get the wizard, or would you like tool up on bribes and stuff? And if
Oh,
anything hits the floor, I'm
I
gonna
would.
foul it.
I mean, I would use the wizard. He could get a wizard and Slibbly is probably what he wants to do because having that not Saurus there. Well, how much? Let's look at what the TV difference is. So you're looking at a TV difference of, well, I think the 1370 doesn't count that he's going to get a skink journey or a skink journeyman. So it's 1430. That is 330, 370. So it's not enough for the wizard and the and
It'd
Slibbly.
be 410 or 400. I can't remember. But
Is
Agi's 30.
oh wait, he hasn't taken the Agi yet. So that might so wizard and Slibbly if he can afford it. Wizard and bribes otherwise, I think is the way to go.
I'm solely Daniel. I
Yeah. Well,
I
I mean,
think I
I want
think that's the only way the lizards win.
yeah. I just fouling with wizards is hard. It's not easy.
It's because your alignment is so bad as well, like AV7 and stun. Ugh. And they're really
Like yeah, I don't know why I'm looking at. Oh wait, because we haven't looked at face planters yet. For face planters, have a player who has leveled up that's not one of his four key players. So we'll see what he got. He got dodge. Very exciting. Very exciting.
yay, dodge.
No, dodge is
Um
good. He he will be slowly replacing Broken Jaw.
Yeah. I think Spoon cursed his team by naming permanent. Like dead eight. Like how many iterations of it do you have to get to a point to retire it?
And it does look like many of those deads did actually die.
Oh, that's brilliant. I like that.
Though you don't see a lot of the other teams, unfortunately, the other players, unfortunately, don't match up as well.
Yeah.
Oh, a smash
That,
collarbone. Had a smash collarbone, so that's nice. So it
that
looks
would
like just
always make me
mostly just
giggle.
deaths. So he should just name his entire team Death.
You can't.
Or Death
uh,
Death 1, Death 2, Death 3. Or you can what you could do is like death in different languages.
oh, that would be.
Merc Tacklesaurus is an idea, but it feels bad without the block. It
Yeah.
like you're especially if you give him tackle, like I guess if you can give him tackle and just base him up and not do anything else with him, just on the hopes that you force the other coach to use their rerolls.
Doesn't Hemlock have stab?
Ooh, yeah, that's true.
That could that could be
Hemlock
funny.
might actually be useful for once.
That could be funny.
Um,
It's not
I don't
optimal, but it's
strongly
quite funny.
recommend that, but it's worth thinking
It
about at least.
it's a choice.
Yeah, my own experience with Hemlock has been that he's pretty terrible, but
Stab a witch.
yep, you could you could. Okay, so standings as of right now don't really matter too much. Congratulations, Barry and the lads. If the world stops turning, you'll be the division leader.
Um, congrats to everybody for playing. I know a few swear.
Yeah, um, you keep cutting out. You know,
Oh, okay. Sorry.
no problem. We'll figure out what's going on with that offline. But for now, let us say thanks everyone for tuning in, and good luck and have fun with your own games.
Have a good one.